everyone, welcome to our channel. In this video, we will start implementing the database design from our previous video. This video is a building block of the entire database design and implementation series we are creating. We will continue step by step to build out the complete database design. If you want to review the database design beforehand, please check out the link below. If you are not familiar with the requirements, you can learn about them by watching the videos linked in the description below. Let's get started. We will use EntityFramework core, an ORM, to create the database we have previously designed. So what is an ORM? Object-Relational Mapping, ORM, is a programming technique that allows you to convert data between databases, which use tables, and programming languages, which use objects. Essentially, it helps developers interact with databases using the programming language's own syntax rather than writing complex database queries. This makes code easier to read, write, and maintain. Open Visual Studio Code. Click on the Explorer tab in the top left corner, then click Create .NET Project. If you don't see the Create .NET Project button, you'll need to install the C# Dev Kit. You can learn how to install it by watching the video C# with Visual Studio Code on Mac linked below. Select Console App from the list, then name your project. Follow along with my steps for configurations. We'll need to install NuGet packages to use the EntityFramework core ORM. First, install EntityFramework core with the latest version. Then go ahead and find the EntityFramework core SQL Server, then install it. Lastly, find and install EntityFramework core design. Installing versions that are close to each other can help ensure a smooth and stable environment. Right-click on the project folder, select New Folder, and name it Configurations. Inside this folder, create a new class called AppDbContext to set up your database configuration. Define the class exactly as I do, inheriting from DB-Context. Then import EntityFramework core to resolve this error. Lastly, define your connection string. A connection string is a simple piece of text that tells an application how to find and connect to a database. Create another folder named as Data Models. In this folder, we will define the classes required to create tables in the database. This is the database design we created in detail in our previous video. Let's start by designing the user table first. Define a user class for our user table inside the Data Models folder. We will define fields inside the user class to represent the corresponding columns in the user table. We need to add the user class to the AppDbContext so that the user table will be created in the database. We created our database on SQL Server running in Docker. First, let's check if the database is running properly. If it's not, click Run to start it. You can check out the video linked in the top right corner of the screen and in the description below to learn how to work with databases using MSSQL and Docker. Find the program.cs file on the left-hand side. It's important to use the EnsureCreated function here to make sure our table is created in the database. Let's place a breakpoint here to check if the database is created. Open Azure Data Studio. You can find a link below that briefly explains how to install and use Azure Data Studio. Then come back to VS Code and run the project. Our database has been created without any errors. Now let's verify it using Azure Data Studio. Let's connect to a database we created. We'll use the connection details that we previously defined in the connection string. We have connected successfully. The database name is the same as the one we used in the connection string. As you can see here, the user table, based on the class we wrote, has been created successfully. We used the EnsureCreated method, which is fine for a relatively small scale projects. However, using the migration method is a better approach, as it handles not only the creation of tables, but also tracks changes to the database model over time. In summary, EnsureCreated can be used to quickly create simple and basic databases. Delete the section on the program.cs that we used EnsureCreated method. Let's look at an example to learn how to use migration method to create a database. Open New Terminal. If this is your first time using the terminal for dotnet commands, make sure to install the dotnet tool globally first. I'll leave the prompts in the description below. Write the command as I do to create the migration files, then hit enter. Our migration files have been created. Let's go ahead and take a look at them. You'll find detailed information about your tables, such as their relationships, column data types, and more. We'll dive deeper in these details in the upcoming videos. Let's use the connection string we wrote earlier, change the database name, and create another database using the migration method. Type the command I use in the terminal and press enter. We are getting an error saying that user table already exists in the database. You might wonder why this happens, especially since we changed the database name. The reason is that you also need to save the changes you made in the classes for them to take effect. As you can see, our database has been successfully created using the migration method. Let's go ahead and check our new database using Azure Data Studio. Refresh the databases folder, and as you can see, the new database has been created. That's it. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for upcoming videos in the series, where we will continue building out our database design step by step.